Namaste students. I am Basavaraj Bilgi, Assistant Professor of English, GFGC Ergatti. Today we will discuss a poem called Fidelity by William Wordsworth, which is prescribed for become second semester students, Rani Chanamma University, Belgavi. Before going to discuss the poem, we will see some of the facts about the poet. William Wordsworth was an English romantic poet who, with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, started the Romantic Age in English literature with their joint publication of lyrical ballads in the year 1798. Uh, William Wordsworth had a philosophy of nature, which we will discuss in a short while. He conceived of nature as a living personality. For William Wordsworth, nature itself has a personality, and he believed that there is a divine spirit pervading all the objects of nature. William Wordsworth believes that there is a divinity in nature which can be seen in all the objects of nature. This belief in a divine spirit pervading all the objects of nature may be termed as mystical pantheism. Pantheism is the term which was invented by William Wordsworth. Pantheism means ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ದೇವರ ಆಜ್ಞೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಭೂಮಿಯ ಮೇಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಹುಲ್ಲು ಕಡ್ಡಿಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಾಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ಯಾಂಥೆಯಿಸಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ and is fully expressed in Tintern AB and in several passages in Book 2 of the Prelude. About this philosophy, William Wordsworth discusses in his poem called Tintern AB and another book called The Prelude. Wordsworth believed that the company of nature gives joy to the human heart, and he looked upon nature as exercising a healing influence on sorrow-stricken hearts. Healing means curing. Wordsworth believed that nature has a power to cure. Power to cure the human problems, he says, he believed. Above all, Wordsworth emphasized the moral influence of nature. He spiritualized nature and regarded her as a great moral teacher, as the best mother, guardian, and nurse of man, and as an elevating influence. He believed that between man and nature there is mutual consciousness, spiritual communion, or mystic intercourse. He initiates his readers into the secret of the soul's communion with nature. According to him, human beings who grow up in the lap of nature are perfect in every respect. Now we will see something about the poem before going to read the poem. The poem is based on a legend. Legend means dantakate, and it is a fable which speaks of a shepherd who encounters a dog fable. Fable means it is a story in which animals are personified as human beings. At first, he thinks it is a wolf. Then, later on in the poem, the poet leads to the shepherd discovering the skeletal remains of a man lying at the bottom of the precipice. Precipice is a place by which you mean it is very steep side of a mountain. ಒಂದು ಗುಡ್ಡದ ಅತಿ ಕಡಿದಾದಂತಹ ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಿಸಿಪೈಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. The poet wants us to imagine that the dead man was a traveler who journeyed this place and the dog being his faithful companion. William Wordsworth in this poem describes about the loyalty of the dog, which remained at the place where his master died 3 months ago. There is a haunting sense of mystery inherent in the poem. The poet uses the language of suspense and the legend to create a story of a traveler who has fallen down on the precipice. In the symbol of the shepherd, the poet himself is the alter ego of the shepherd. The shepherd is an archetype of a person who leads a flock of sheep. The shepherd is a famous icon of pastoral poetry. Pastoral, P-A-S-T-O-R-A-L. Pastoral poetry means the poetry which speaks about the rural life. Wordsworth's poetry conveys pastoral nature. Nature is manifested as a philosophy that causes awe and trembling. The faithfulness of the dog elevates our sense of pity to the sublime. The faithfulness of the dog brings about a sublime feeling in human beings. Wordsworth has evolved a dynamic catharsis. Catharsis, C-A-T-H-A-R-S-I-S. Catharsis is an Aristotelian term by which you mean purgation, P-U-R-G-A-T-I-O-N, or purification of the soul, P-U-R-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N, purification of the soul. Now we will read the poem line by line. Fidelity. Fidelity itself means faithfulness. Fidelity means faithfulness. One fine day, a shepherd is traveling through the dense forest and a valley called Helvellyn, and suddenly he hears the barking sound of a dog. See, a barking sound the shepherd hears, a cry as of a dog or fox. He is not sure whether the sound is of a dog or a fox. Suddenly, he halts and searches with his eyes among the scattered rocks. He stops for a while and searches through the bush and finds something there in scattered rocks. There are some small rocks which are scattered through the bush, and he finds something there, and now at distance can discern a stirring in a brake of fern. After standing, the shepherd discerns, D-I-S-C-E-R-N. Discern means find out, search. What he searches there? He searches a stirring in a brake of fern. F-E-R-N. Fern means bush. ಭಾಳ ಜಿಡ್ಡುಗಟ್ಟಿದಂತಹ ಕಂಟಿ. And instantly a dog is seen. As he starts searching for the sound, he sees that there is a dog among the scattered rocks which is making a kind of sound which seems to be a cry. Glancing from that covert green, there is a dog in that bush and it is looking at the shepherd from that covert green. Covert means very thick greenery or rahasya, secret. The dog is not of mountain breed. The shepherd understands that the dog doesn't belong to the mountain breed. Breed means tali. Its motions too are wild and shy. The dog, which is there in front of the shepherd, he believes it doesn't belong to the mountain breed because its motions are somewhat different from a mountain breed dog. With something as the shepherd thinks, the shepherd starts thinking. It is unusual in its cry, and the mountain dogs do not do such a sound, but this dog is making some different sound which captures the imagination of the shepherd. Nor is there anyone in sight. He looks around and finds no one there because a pet dog comes to the forest only with his master. It doesn't come alone. That's what is the belief of the shepherd, and he is right also. All round in hollow or in height there is a hollow place. Hollow place means empty place or deep pit, ಆಳವಾದಂತಹ ತಗ್ಗಿನ ಪ್ರದೇಶ, ತಗ್ಗು ಪ್ರದೇಶ. ಆಳವಾದಂಥ ತಗ್ಗಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನಂತರ ಎತ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಗುಡ್ಡದ ಮೇಲೂ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಬಟ್ ಹಿ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಎನಿ ಒನ್ ದೇರ್. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸೈಟ್. Nor shout nor whistle strikes his ear. He doesn't hear the shouting sound of any human being there, and nor whistle. He doesn't hear the whistle also. WHISTLE. Whistle means shille hodiyudu. What is the creature doing here? The shepherd asks himself. When there is no human trace around this place, what this creature is doing here in this thick forest, he thinks. It was a cove, a huge recess. Cove, COVE, cove means empty, ಖಾಲಿಯಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ. A huge recess. Huge recess means secret place. It is very secret and no human being can go to such place. That's how it is. That keeps till June December's snow. It is a place where you can find snow. Snow means ice. SNOW. Snow ಅಂದರೆ ice. ಜೂನ್ದೊಳಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದಂತಹ ಐಸು ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ವರೆಗೂ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಅದು. A lofty precipice in front, a silent tarn below. It is a lofty precipice. Precipice, PRECIPICE. Precipice means steep side of a mountain. ಗುಡ್ಡದ ಕಡಿದಾದಂತಹ ತುದಿ. A silent tarn below. ಆ ಗುಡ್ಡದ ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿದಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಗುಡ್ಡದ ಪ್ರದೇಶದೊಳಗೆ ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಟಾರ್ನ್ ಬಿಲೋ. TARN. ಟಾರ್ನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಟಾರ್ನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಲೇಕ್. ಟಾರ್ನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಲೇಕ್. LAKE. ಲೇಕ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೊಳ್ಳ, ಹಳ್ಳ. Far in the bosom of Helvellyn remote from public road or dwelling. The place is not in the bosom of Helvellyn. Nearby that place there was a village called Helvellyn, which is very far from this place, and he thinks how this dog came here. Bosom. Bosom means chest or samipya. Remote from public road, and he looks around and doesn't find a public road also, or dwelling. Dwelling. Dwelling means human existence. He doesn't find any human existence around that place. Pathway. uh, do not bother about the public road. There is not a small pathway also. Or cultivated land. Cultivated means cultivated. Cultivated means ಉಳುಮೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಕೇವಲ ಗುಡ್ಡ, ಬೆಟ್ಟ, ಕಲ್ಲು, ಮುಳ್ಳು, ಬೃಹದಾಕಾರದ ಮರಗಳಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರದೇಶ. From trace of human foot or hand. You cannot trace human foot or hand at that place. Trace, trace. Trace andre mark. Mark means gurutu. There sometimes does a leaping fish shunned through the tarn a lonely cheer. After some time he hears sound, a kind of sound from the leaping fish from the lake beneath the hill. The crags repeat the raven's croak. Crags means sound. Crack is steep rocks of that place echo the sound of raven, which is in symphony austere. Symphony is music. And he says austere means simple and very harsh. The ravens are making sound which falls on the precipice, which falls on the steep rocks of the place, and are echoed through the air, which seems to be a beautiful music to the shepherd's ear. Thither the rainbow comes. There is a huge waterfall. When the sunbeams pass through the waterfall, suddenly a rainbow appears. There are the clouds and mists that spread the flying shroud, and the mists and the clouds and the falling water are creating a kind of mystery there in the place. And sunbeams and the sounding blast that, if it could, would hurry past, but that enormous barrier binds it past. All these things are making huge sound, but all these sounds are stopped by the steep rock of the hill. The hill is very tall and it doesn't allow any sound to go out of that place. It is binding all the sounds. The enormous barrier, barrier. Barrier means ಬೇಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ಡಗೋಡೆ. Not free from boding thoughts. The shepherd gets very bad thinkings, bad thoughts in his mind. boding. Boding means bad. Bad. He gets some bad thoughts in his mind that something bad is going to happen. A while the shepherd stood, then makes his way towards the dog over rocks and stones. After standing there silently for a while, the shepherd then goes near the dog over rocks and stones. There are very sharp rocks and stones which are very fearful, which are very dangerous. He goes over those things to see the dog. As quickly as he may, Norpar had gone before he found a human skeleton on the ground. He is barely covered some place. Suddenly he finds a human skeleton on the ground there. When the shepherd was going towards the sound, he finds a human skeleton. skeleton. Skeleton means Asthipanjara. The appalled discoverer with a sigh looks round to learn the history. The poet is very much shocked, appalled, appalled. Appalled means shocked. He is very much shocked to see the human skeleton on the ground, looks around to learn the history, looks around, and he starts thinking what might had happened. He starts thinking from those abrupt and perilous rocks. The man had fallen that place of fear. He learns that some man was walking through this hill and he might have abruptly fallen from those perilous rocks. Perilous, perilous. Perilous means dangerous, bhayanaka. The man had fallen that place of fear. That man whom I saw 3 months ago certainly might have fallen from the rocks, he thinks, the shepherd thinks. At length, upon the shepherd's mind, it breaks, and all is clear. After thinking for a while, the shepherd recounts, the shepherd remembers one person traveling to the place 3 months ago. He instantly recalled the name. He instantly recalled the name. The shepherd remembers the name of the person who traveled to this place 3 months ago, whose name is Charles Gog, and the name of the dog is Foxy, and who he was and whence he came. The shepherd instantly comes to know whose skeleton it is and who came to this place, remembered to the very day on which the traveler passed this way. And he also remembers the day on which the traveler came to this place. But here a wonder for whose sake this lamentable tale I tell. He says, it is not important to learn the name of the person and other things in the story, but I will tell you a wonderful story. I will tell you a beautiful story about this. And he says, this is a lamentable tale. TALE, tale means story ಅಥವಾ ಕತೆ. ಲೆಮೆಂಟೇಬಲ್, LAMENTABLE, ಲೆಮೆಂಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರೂರಿಸುವಂತಹ ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಲೇಬೇಕು. A lasting monument of words, this wonder merits well. He says, this will be a long lasting monument of words. The shepherd says, the story of the dog is like a historical building, a monument of words, and he says this is a wonder which can be written about. Those were the days in which all the writers were writing about the rich people, the kings and the queens. But this man, William Wordsworth, writes about nature and writes about an animal called dog, and that's why he says, I or my story of this dog will be a monument of words, and all the people will read this story in the future. And he says, The story of this dog can be equaled to the story of a man or a king or a queen. The dog, which still was hovering nigh, repeating the same timid cry. The dog still, when the shepherd is thinking all these things, the dog is walking round. It is going round the skeleton and the shepherd, and it is repeating its cry. It hasn't stopped crying. This dog had been through 3 months space. He says that the dog had spent 3 months here in this place, a dweller in that savage place. And he says the dog had spent 3 months in such a savage place. Savage means ferocious, ಘೋರ, ಘನಘೋರವಾದಂತಹ ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶದೊಳಗೆ ನಾಯಿಯು 3 ತಿಂಗಳ ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ಕಳೆದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಎಸ್, proof was plain that since the day on which the traveler thus had died, and he got his proof that the dog had spent 3 months there from the day the traveler died here in this place. The dog had watched about the spot or by his master's side. The dog which came with his master has been watching this spot for last 3 months, or it might have spent this 3 months by sitting beside his master's dead body. The shepherd thinks, how nourished here through such long time. And the poet wonders how this dog got its food for these 3 months. Nourish, Nourish. Nourish means food. He knows who gave that love sublime and gave that strength of feeling. And the shepherd comes to know who gave that strength to the dog and who gave that love to the dog, or those feelings to the dog. Feeling great above all human estimate. He says, the story of this loyal dog cannot be imagined by a man, which is above all human estimate, which is above human thinking. A human being may not be able to spend 3 months of loyal time, but a dog had spent 3 months, which is very loyal to his master. Thank you very much.